All right, guys, ICP is holding at $2.50, 54 cents, and it's a very interesting time we're in because I do think this was actually the bottom at $2. So in this video, I want to go over where I think things are going to happen, where it's going, and some of the kind of the recent news, including some of the posts that Dom has made, and also a comparison of ICP with what it has going on right now versus Replit, Lovable, the other AI systems versus Caffeine AI, and where we think the valuation is going to go, plus ways to actually earn more ICP higher than the 16%. Well, no, it's like 13% staking, which I've discovered. So I'm going to try to cover this in a very quick video here. So hold on to your hats because I'm going to give I want to talk about price first. First of all, a bear market was definitely here, including in the price of ETH and in BTC. Both BTC and ETH have recently pumped about 20% off their lows, okay? Now, 72,000 for BTC is about 20% off its lows, and it's gone back a little bit. As you can see, BTC is now at 71,200. So it doesn't necessarily mean we're out of the woods, but generally when we pump about 20% off the lows, it kind of means it's a signal. It's a very bullish signal. Plus, we've also had outbreak of war in the Middle East. Basically, literally every country, Arab nation going to war with Iran and Israel and America. I mean, it's nuts. So given all that BTC didn't go any lower and it's actually higher, ETH is actually holding up pretty good, 2,800, and gold is at 5,124. These are all pretty decent numbers considering the lows and considering usually when you have geopolitical instability, you fall apart. The fact that alts like ICP are up is actually pretty cool. It's actually something that I wouldn't suspect. Most the alts like ICP and all, Sol and these other tokens and even lesser ones like Tron and BNB and all these other ones usually get hit a little bit harder when geopolitical things happen. In this particular case, we bottomed around February 24th, way before anything happened. So the fact we're holding up, what could push it down lower? It's not going to be geopolitical anymore. If you see here, we did dump when this 1010, was this 1010? No, this is February 5th. This was I think 1010 had another crash in it too. So when we start looking at the charts and we start looking, there's the 1010 chart also dumped. So when we start looking at all this stuff, what can impact the alts like ICP more? Well, it's not going to be geopolitical. Okay. That's not going to have an impact. It's going to be financial. Okay. Jane Street was impacting. A lot of people believed it was impacting ETH and Bitcoin and probably dragging down the alts with it. Has that been lifted from it? We don't know. That was another video that I did about ETH. Now, where are we going to go from here? Personally, I think this is all going to come up to one or two things. M2 money supply, liquidity, velocity of the liquidity, which is what actually pushes the market when it comes to the alts, but also what ICP is doing. ICP is actually holding a higher percentage off the bottom than both ETH and Bitcoin, which is great news. A lot of alts are not. So it's showing strength. Why? Well, I think there's a couple things we got to look at. First of all, Dom Mission 70 trying to cut down inflation by 70% has been, some of the first proposals have been voted through. This whole attack with the UAE, he's basically saying that, hey, if you were on there was an AWS outage in the UAE, that you need to have ICP. See, ICP provides a way to create sovereign cloud from a network that can withstand data center losses, which is true. So if we really think about it in war times or instability, the only way to really continue to have AWS kind of systems, because AWS can be taken out because they have centralized data centers, is with ICP. So this is actually really powerful, and it's very powerful to even think about this. And this was actually about 2 days ago, this post, that a war showed how powerful that ICP's infrastructure that spans the globe could be. In fact, it is so profound and so powerful that you have to really take a step back and think about it. What other crypto can do this? And what other company outside of probably a couple big ones, Google, Amazon. I mean, Amazon went down, could even do this. It's something to really ponder. It's something to ponder because if ICP is the only company in the world, crypto or non-crypto, that can have its data centers withstand basically wars, droughts, floods, earthquakes, you name it. Well, maybe droughts, who knows? So, if you are hurricanes. Think about it. If they're the only ones, there's actually something there that's actually very profound and very powerful, that we're giving this token a value of only $2.54. It's worth like around a little bit over $1 billion. Something that has profound impacts like this, that's one thing to think about, right? Then he also posted this, which was very interesting. This was on February 26th. A big ICP moment could be when 5 things come together. And this is also what I'm kind of counting on to drive the price of ICP. Internet computer cloud engines, more sovereign deals, plus Caffeine AI. Caffeine AI is probably the number one in my book. And we're going to talk about that in a second. V3 engine, fine Fettel. No idea what he's talking about there. Somebody can chime in the comments. App market open to publishing. App market on Caffeine AI could absolutely be revolutionary and absolutely monstrous business. Could be in the billions of dollars. Web 2 auto integration. Okay, also big. All in sight. He's got the target on there. So this is all huge. I don't know any other Web 2 or Web 3 company that's even doing this. And also, it's not like ICP is going to own some of these things. Like, they do not own Caffeine AI, but as I've shown in my other videos, they're going to be getting the payments, and Caffeine AI has to do their own raise, and that money is going to go to ICP to buy ICP for basically the gas to keep it going, the engine to keep it going. Basically, ICP, you got to look at it as the fuel to keep the engine of Caffeine AI going. And in most cases, they're going to need more fuel than Caffeine AI is going to be taking in money. There's a case to be made that Caffeine AI might take in $100 million in revenues in the first year, but needs to spend $150 million on fuel. That is a case to be made, and a very high probability if tens of thousands of websites and apps are created on it, okay? So that's number 2. Number 3, this is what else is going on. I did a comparison with Lovable, Replit, and Caffeine AI, okay? The valuations of Lovable and Replit are 6.6 billion, and I believe Replit is now at 9 billion with the latest funding round, which was a couple $100 million. Look at the revenues, 200 million, 240 million, and it's reoccurring revenues. I think both of them probably a little bit higher now, because the last couple months, I think they've even showed a little bit higher. So Caffeine AI, unknown, too early, but Caffeine AI does something none of these do. We're going to get into in a second. 320,000, 150,000 paying customers. How many paying customers can Caffeine AI get to create $240 million in revenues? Because Replit has only done it with 150,000 versus Lovable needed 320,000. That's very interesting, right? So they're getting twice as many per user. So Caffeine AI is more like Replit. In fact, it does stuff on chain with crypto, Web3, that Replit can't even do, like staking and contracts that Replit can't even do. So I don't even think it needs 100,000 customers. I think you get to Replit revenue band from me using Caffeine AI. I think you get there with between 50 and 75,000, maybe even less, because there's going to be at least 10,000 developers that are going to be on this immediately and making all sorts of DeFi projects and protocols and copying stuff, putting in the marketplace. It's going to be wild. So it's going to be absolutely wild. So when I look at this, I look at the potential, $200 million in revenues. Okay, that means $200, maybe more, maybe even $300 million in demand for our ICP token is absolutely possible in a year from now or 2 years from now. We don't know. It could take a little bit longer, but at least something between $50 and $100 million of constant buying pressure could be created. So this is absolutely important. You're basically going to make people buy ICP without them even knowing. They're basically using their credit card, and they're going to basically burn ICP. No one else has this in crypto. Nobody else. Okay. And, we just compare a little bit more between Caffeine AI and, valuations and all that. AI coding platform, experimental AI dev tools. I mean, Caffeine AI is going to be next level. Now, third, how are we going to get more ICP without having to go out there and buy it? This is what I've been doing, and I've been using this, and I've found a little bit of a breakthrough. Look at this, 192% interest. I know a lot of you guys are staking ICP. You don't need to stake it anymore. I have something better for you. 97%. This one's out of range because it's only a 2% range. This is called liquidity farming. This is being done on Aerodrome. I'll give you the website here. I'll put the links down here. It's from MaxFi. I'm going to give you the links. This one is 97%. I've been finally got a range that's paying me. This one hasn't gone out of range very often. It's been running for 1 day and 17 hours up here. This one's been running 1 day and 16 hours. It rebalanced twice. This one has only rebalanced once. This system rebalances you automatically. So you just set it and forget it. So there's a couple ways of doing this, okay? You can do it like this and earn 94% or 100%, 192% if you bring the range in closer. But what I am doing is a little bit different. If you look at my total account, I'm actually earning $281 a day. So instead, I have stuff, and look at the 600%. What I'm doing is a little different. I'm farming, for example, ETH and USDC, and then I'm also earning on other pools, which I'm doing down here. I'm going to show you. And I'm taking the money that I'm making. For example, I'm earning 2,388%, literally over 20 times of whatever I'm earning on the ICP pool. This one's on Uniswap. Okay, this is a token called Claw-D. I'm earning 2,300%. I'm taking this every day. You can see I disabled compounding. Why? I want this money that I collect to come into my wallet every day. Instead, over the last 2 days, I've earned $114. So I can go buy 50 ICP a day. Imagine if you invested $600 and you can go buy 50 ICP almost every 2 days. Imagine that. Imagine how much ICP you can collect versus just farming ICP. I'm going for a little bit more of a degen pool, and even this one, 1,700%. And you can only do this on the MaxFi system because it's built on SnuggleFi, and because of the way it snuggles up to the ranges. And I have other videos, and even if you go up to videos right here, it'll show you. I made these other videos for you guys. This is my project with the dev from SnuggleFi, and it's all about, this is the only place you can do V3 liquidity farming and do it like this. And we have all these pools. You can pick one, and it's being done with all these DEXs: Uniswap, Airdrome, PancakeSwap. All the fees are what are being earned on the DEXs. This is not a Ponzi. It's not nothing. You get these fees, but you can't do it yourself because there's no auto rebalancing on these DEXs. If you can manually put the money into these DEXs, which have billions of dollars of liquidity, but you have to manually, when it goes out of range, go fix it. Here, you don't need to do anything. The SnuggleFi dev, which is Alex's name, he's built a game changer. This is a revolution. This is how much I've made. It's been less than 2 weeks, and I'm just homing it in. I'm at $280 a day. I mean, this is real money that I'm making. So I could technically go buy, if I want to take all the profits, I could technically go buy 112 ICP every single day for free. 112 times 30. I could pick up 3,360 ICP while the price is low a month. And if price stays low, let's say for another 3 months, I don't think it's going to stay that much lower. And I'm going to go over it with you guys why. I could pick up 10,000 ICP, farm ICP, do a farm like this, earn 10,000 ICP off of what I have. Isn't that crazy? People are doing it. And I have all sorts of farms and tutorials for you guys. This is liquidity farming. This is what I do during bear markets. Bear markets, you want to basically earn something while you wait for the market to go up. Don't just sit there for 12% or 5% or 8% and think you're doing well. You're not. You're being outcompeted if people are using the MaxFi system or SnuggleFi. You're being outcompeted because this system was only, it took him almost a year to create this, but now we can take advantage of these ranges, and you can come into the SnuggleFi Discord. Also, this is the dev. His name's Geopolitics, real name's Alex. He's completely doxed, and we're talking about what are the best ways to make money. And if you look, people are posting how much money they're making. 2,800%. He put $900 in this position, Felix and ETH. Which after I saw this, I did the same. You know, I'm not making as much as him because, well, I don't know. Well, I'm not. He's making 5,000 on this one. I'm not seeing that much, but I just started the position. I'm seeing about 3,000%. So it also depends on when you open the position, time of day, time of night. Also, when you take your screenshots, you know, it'll depend. But I'm actually doing very well on that position. The Felix position, I think, is doing, here it is, 2,300%. So I could take this $34 a day. Imagine $34 a day times, let's say 30. I can take $1,000 a month out of a $500 position, take that and go buy ICP. That's what I suggest everyone to do. This is the new way, and like enable compounding. No, I don't want more Felix tokens. It's very simple. You can just disable it on these, what I call degenerate pools, where you're just using it to farm money, as much money as you can to put into what you really want. You take your money or you can just use it to pay your bills for passive income. You take this and you basically put it in whatever you want versus just letting your money just sit there. You can let your ICP sit there, but what's the point? So this is something else that I'm doing out there. I recommend everyone do. Now, where do I think the price of ICP is going to go? First of all, I think we're out of the woods at 90%. I think, yes, sure, there's a 10% it could dip, but I'm seeing liquidity come back to the markets. This is what's causing ETH to go up. This is what's causing Bitcoin to go up. If you look at Bitcoin prices, the most telling price. Yes, it's about 18% off the bottom. Let's look at Bitcoin. And by the way, you see here, I was trying to trade Bitcoin. That's why you see these and shorts and longs and so forth. That's why you see them. But by the way, I'm making more money. I've taken most of my money out of Hyperliquid. I only have $700 in here now. I used to have way more. And the reason I did that is because I don't have to stress anymore. If you're in Hyperliquid or any of these other places or gambling on poly markets, I mean, why? You can make $250, $300 a day. It's 10 grand a month. I don't have to trade. That is my trade. And you hold on to your main position. You just don't get liquidated like you do on Hyperliquid. Yeah, you might suffer some impermanent loss here, but you'll make it back on your percentages here. It doesn't even matter. You're being paid to provide liquidity. You are Jane Street. You are Goldman Sachs. You're not the dumb money anymore. You're actually the smart money. That's what you have to be during a bear cycle. Be smart money. Stack as much ICP as you can. If you believe in it, I believe in it. I own a lot of it, and my plan is I have a little bit over 14,000. My plan is to use this at about 2,000 or 3,000 a month to my stack. Okay, I could easily end up at 25,000 ICP in the next 3 months. How much are you going to have? And I could easily see the value here stay around the same. Maybe it goes down a little bit with the market or fluctuation, but I can go ahead and use this money and stack another 10,000 ICP while you're still stuck with your 1,000 ICP. It's a big difference. This is how you make real money in this type of market. Take the advantages you can. Now, when I'm looking at Bitcoin, this was the deep crash we had down to 60,000, actually went a little bit below 59,000. We didn't go back there. We didn't even retest it. It was showing strength all along here. And then we saw weakness in gold finally when gold went to about 5,400. You see, you got to see the vision of what's happening. You got to actually went even higher. You see, when gold went to 5,600, it crashed all the way down. Look at that. Crazy, right? 4,400. Now it's come back, and then it went another one to 5,400, came back to 5,000. So gold is actually trading really crazy. For the most part, the chart hasn't broken down. Gold looks actually fairly decent, but what you're starting to see is fissures, because when you don't go as high as the last pump, which you didn't, you went at 5,400, you're a little bit worried now, because next one you might go to only 5,300 and come back down. Next one you go to 5,200 and start coming back down. Steps it down. Gold's not as volatile as crypto, so you don't really know. So the gold trade could potentially be over. This is kind of the first fissure that we're seeing, or it could just go sideways for the longest time. But when you're looking at ETH and you're looking at Bitcoin, their charts are starting to wake up a lot. Okay? You're starting to see a chart that's actually waking up. This is very different than gold. You're seeing a batter chart wake up versus gold. You're seeing a peak chart kind of showing some fissures. So you got to go where the momentum is. If crypto, ETH, Bitcoin is picking up momentum, and it could take months to form here, you don't know when the bottom is. I personally think this was the bottom. I mean, it's already been a couple months. We've already technically been in a bear market for a while, since October. Usually the bear market after about 6 months kind of levels out, starts to come back up. We're kind of getting to that area. If you think about it, October, November, December, January, February, March. We're in March because it was October 10th where we had the fall. Okay? Where 10/10 had the fall. So March 10th, 5 days from now, puts us at 6 months. This isn't new. Usually that's where you're bottoming out and you're coming up and forming the next leg. This is very interesting. And if that's the case, This is going to be heading into the bull market. I think ICP is going to absolutely outperform everyone else. I don't think anyone else is going to be close. Yes, there are other AI tokens like Near, which are doing relatively well if you look at it also. Near is also about the same, 25% up. So you're starting to see the alts actually hold. We're going to look at another one like Tau, which is another AI token. Is it holding? Are they holding over 25%? Let's see. 188 divided by 144. Yes, it is. It is holding. It is holding. They're all over about 25%. The fact that they're holding over is actually very interesting. But there are tokens that are not holding over. For example, I don't believe AVAX is holding over 25%. So we can do AVAX also. And I'm going to tell you why I think what's going on. AVAX is only up 13%. So what's the difference between an AVAX, a Tau, a Near, ICP? ICP, Near, and Tau are all AI tokens, okay? AI infrastructure plays. They're holding up better than the old school kind of, I would call them just normal layer ones, right? So you're starting to see a division. No one's really talking about it yet, but this is what I kind of see is going to happen. Zcash not doing very well, by the way. So this is what you gotta have a little bit of vision and understand what is about to happen. Are people going to go more into the AI plays, the real true AI plays like Near, Tau, ICP versus, let's just say, a Sol? Sol's just a play on an L1 network. Let's see what the percentage is. Sol's only up 15%. Think about it. Everything is 12, 13, 14, 15, and I've done a lot of this. 15%, but the AI plays like Near, Tau, ICP are 25%. Ask yourself why. Why are those up a little bit more? What else is ICP doing? Well, they're doing a lot. In fact, they're doing a lot of stuff, way more than everyone else. Where do we think it's going? Personally, at 250, I can't see this being below $30, $40 at the end of the year because this market is going to pick up. I think it's a matter of time. I think this was the bottom, and I do not believe maybe there'll be a small retest, but I'm buying the dip. I'm farming over at MaxFi, and I'm taking all this money and I'm buying as much ICP as possible. That's the way to go. And I'm also refarming with some of the money too, because actually I did this with this Felix that I just opened up, this Felix position today. I didn't even pay for it. I just used my rewards. I opened up this entire position making 3,000% purely on rewards. If this thing goes to zero tomorrow, I don't even care. It's not going to go to zero because it's half ETH and half Felix. But it doesn't concern me. If it goes down, I don't care because first I'm going to make back all of this money in about 12 days, what the value is of this thing. And, in 12 days, the rest of its profit. And I didn't even put any money up. I used all my rewards. I just used my rewards money. And that's the power of me doing this and showing you how to do it versus you just sitting with your ICP tokens or your ETH tokens or your Bitcoin tokens earning 3%, think you're doing a good job. You're not. Get into mining. And if you need to know more, you can come over to the Discord. And I'm going to show you this and we're going to end the video. Basically, if you need to know more about pools, just go into pools. If you need to know more about how to farm, basically these are the pools. So you guys understand your money is being deposited in Uniswap or Aerodrome or PancakeSwap. There are hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars. You can see right here, $120 million, $95 million in USD ETH, 58 million in BTC ETH. And you can just click on them and you can see how much revenue is being generated. What we're doing is we're just trying to go after this money every day. $132,000 is being generated every day by people trading USDC and ETH. All we're doing is we're trying to find a better way to farm this because all these farms are basically being run by large VCs and companies that have put hundreds of millions, in some cases even more, into these pools because they earn so much money. And market makers like, Citadel and Jane Street and all these other, I think Jane Street was in some of these market makers too. And basically what we're doing is now we're trying to be Jane Street and we're trying to go and earn part of the fees. And we finally have a system that's better than theirs. This system is built by Alex, who's basically a DeFi genius, and he's been doing this for years. He's one of the best people, and he's built in a Snuggle technology, which doesn't swap for these tokens. You can learn more about it, but it's absolutely brilliant. So when you open up a position, the position will start out of range. It won't start in range. Okay, if you do single-sided, only if you do double-sided. So if you go click on earn, let's see wrapped ETH and BTC. If all you have is wrapped ETH, is fine. You just put it in, whatever you want, and it'll open out of range and it'll slowly snuggle up to the range of the BTC and in a few hours or 30 minutes, however long it takes. What that does, it's very powerful. When you rebalance your positions, you don't have to keep paying swap fees. I'll show you one that's out of range. A lot of these are in range right now, which is incredible. It just shows you how good the system is. Where's the out? You see, I get out of ranges all the time, but when I want an out of range, it's not even here. So these are all paying. Jesus Christ, it's going to be a good day today. Oh my God, these are all in range. Outrageous. I can't believe this. And I have some degen shit. Okay, finally, I found one that's out of range. Wrapped ETH in syrup. See, this is where it'll start, or a little bit closer usually. And it'll wait to come into range. So don't freak out when you open a position. It'll take its time to open up. It'll wait for the token to come to it. And this way, we don't pay the swap fees. This is the most efficient use of capital that is out there. That is why the fees are so high. This is why the system works. Once you learn about this, you can't liquidity farm yourself anymore because you're just going to lose money to rebalancing all the time and to, fixing your positions. You're just going to lose money. This, I've had 400 rebalances, paid no fees. That's a huge advantage. That's a huge advantage. So hopefully you guys go check this out. And if you got questions, pop into the Discord. We're going to be there. I'll put all the links for you guys down here. And let's go. Let's make some money. Let's go buy some ICP, guys. Take care.